it's more than just a painting. It's a riddle in plain sight. The Last Supper isn't just about capturing a biblical moment. It's a visual enigma, layered with meaning, tension, and whispers of lost knowledge. Leonardo da Vinci didn't just paint a meal, he engineered a masterpiece designed to provoke, to challenge, and to endure. For centuries, this mural inside the convent of Santa Maria delle Grazie in Milan has fascinated scholars, historians, and yes, more than a few conspiracy theorists. Some see it as a masterpiece of storytelling, others as a coded message waiting to be unraveled. From its revolutionary composition to its fragile existence, from hidden symbols to groundbreaking artistic techniques, this painting's unlike any other. So today, on Galeria, we're pulling back the layers of one of the most studied, debated, and mystifying works of art in history. What did Leonardo really hide in the Last Supper? And why, after 500 years, are we still trying to figure it out? It's 1495 in Milan, a city of wealth, war, and political maneuvering. At its center, Duke Ludovico Sforza, a man desperate to cement his legacy. Patronage of the arts was the ultimate power move, and who better to enlist than Leonardo da Vinci, the Renaissance's most enigmatic mind. But the Last Supper wasn't just decoration. It was propaganda, status, and spectacle. Sforza wanted something grand, something that would elevate his name alongside the great rulers of Italy. Yet Leonardo, ever the visionary, saw an opportunity to break tradition. Instead of a calm, reverent meal, he captured the precise moment Jesus announces his betrayal, a revelation so shocking that it sends ripples of emotion through the room. This wasn't the still, meditative Last Supper of centuries past. It was drama. It was chaos. It was human. Leonardo didn't just depict a biblical story. He staged a psychological thriller, where every gesture, glance, and shadow deepens the tension. And in doing so, he forever changed how we see religious art. Before Leonardo, the Last Supper was usually a stiff, almost choreographed scene, apostles seated in perfect symmetry, heads bowed in quiet reverence. It was formulaic, predictable. But Leonardo? He threw out the rulebook. Instead of a static lineup, he crafted a composition bursting with movement. He grouped the disciples into clusters of 3, each reacting with raw, unscripted emotion. Some recoil in shock, others lean in, whispering, questioning, accusing. Thomas raises a finger in disbelief. Peter grips a knife, his instinct to defend already surfacing. And Judas. Unlike past depictions where he was exiled to the shadows, Leonardo places him right in the mix. His hand clutches a bag of silver, his body leans away, his expression tight with tension. He's guilty, but he hasn't left the table yet. Leonardo da Vinci wasn't just a painter. He was an architect of perception, a scientist wielding a brush. Every element of the Last Supper was meticulously engineered to control how we see and feel the scene. Look closely and you'll notice something remarkable. Every single line in the painting, every beam, every tile, every architectural detail converges at a single point. Not on the table, not in the chaotic gestures of the apostles, but at Jesus' temple. It's a visual magnet, pulling the viewer's focus instinctively to the center of the drama. This wasn't an accident, it was a masterclass in perspective. And then there's the illusion of space. The room in the painting feels vast, stretching beyond the confines of the real refectory wall, but the figures? They're packed tightly together, the tension between them palpable. The result is a paradox. Expanse and confinement, stillness and movement, heightening the intensity of the moment. But perhaps Leonardo's most overlooked innovation? The way he incorporated real light into his illusion. The natural daylight from the convent's windows aligns with the painted windows in the mural, blurring the line between art and reality. For the monks dining below, it wasn't just a painting on a wall, it was a portal into the past, a living, breathing scene unfolding before their eyes. At first glance, the Last Supper feels almost chaotic, hands gesturing wildly, expressions frozen mid-reaction. But with Leonardo, nothing was random. Every element is deliberate, each gesture packed with meaning, forming a visual puzzle that has kept scholars guessing for centuries. Take Peter. His hand grips a knife positioned behind Judas's back. Innocuous? Hardly. It foreshadows the moment he will slash at a soldier in Gethsemane during Jesus' arrest. And Judas, traditionally cast in shadow in earlier paintings, is fully integrated into the group. But Leonardo still marks him. His body recoils, his fingers tighten around a bag of silver, and in a subtle yet damning detail, An overturned salt cellar rests in front of him. But here's the catch. You can't actually see the salt in the original mural today. Time has eroded it beyond recognition. It only survives in early copies of The Last Supper, passed down by artists before the painting's deterioration. A minor detail? Maybe. But in Renaissance symbolism, spilled salt was no accident. It represented bad luck, broken trust, and in this case, ultimate betrayal. And then there's Jesus, the still point in the storm of movement around him. His figure is an equilateral triangle, the Renaissance symbol of harmony and divinity. And he's not alone in that geometry. Leonardo arranges the apostles in groups of 3, reinforcing the Holy Trinity. Even the 3 windows behind him seem to echo this, framing him in an ethereal glow. But the Last Supper isn't just an artistic marvel. It's a mathematical enigma. Some researchers believe Leonardo embedded hidden harmonies within the composition, with the apostles' hands in bread aligning to musical intervals. Others suggest the proportions mirror the golden ratio, a pattern found in nature, architecture, and even the human body. Was Leonardo simply obsessed with precision, or was he hinting at something deeper, that science, faith, and art all follow the same divine blueprint? One thing's certain, 500 years later, the Last Supper still holds secrets we may never fully uncover. For all his genius, Leonardo made one fatal miscalculation. His Last Supper was never meant to last. Unlike traditional frescoes, which bonded pigment to wet plaster for durability, Leonardo took a gamble. He painted directly onto dry plaster with a mix of tempera and oil, hoping to achieve richer details and softer shading. But his experiment backfired spectacularly. The paint never fully adhered. Within just a few decades, the masterpiece was already disintegrating before people's eyes. By the 16th century, huge portions had vanished, triggering centuries of botched restorations, many of which only made things worse. But it wasn't just time and poor restoration that damaged the Last Supper. Human negligence left its scars, too. In the 1600s, monks cut a doorway right through the bottom of the mural, slicing off Jesus' feet like they were remodeling a kitchen. Then, structural failures led to flooding, soaking the fragile painting in moisture and accelerating its decay. But the worst threat came in World War II. In 1943, Allied bombs flattened most of the convent, leaving the refectory in ruins. The Last Supper barely survived. Only a last-minute protective barrier kept the painting from being reduced to dust. When the dust settled, it stood alone, surrounded by rubble, a fragile relic of a world that had nearly erased it. By 1977, what was left of Leonardo's brushwork had almost completely vanished. Less than 20% of the original painting remained. What we see today, it's a patchwork, centuries of touch-ups, guesswork, and desperate attempts to reclaim what was lost. To truly understand what the Last Supper once looked like, we turn to its copies. Before it crumbled, Leonardo's followers made full-scale replicas, preserving details that no longer exist in the real mural. Giampietrino's version, housed in the Royal Academy of Arts, gives us the clearest glimpse into its former brilliance. Andrea Solario, another Milanese painter influenced by Leonardo, carried forward his master's techniques in his own works, ensuring that Leonardo's vision didn't completely vanish into history. Despite centuries of scrutiny, the Last Supper still refuses to give up all its secrets. Scholars continue to dissect its symbols, historians unearth new layers of meaning, and visitors stand in awed silence, absorbing what little remains. But maybe this was Leonardo's true masterpiece, not just a painting, but a puzzle meant to provoke, to challenge, and to endure. Leonardo once said, "The figure is most praiseworthy which by its action best expresses the passions of the soul." And that's exactly what he achieved here. He didn't just depict a biblical dinner. He captured the raw complexity of human nature. Every glance, every gesture, every flicker of doubt or conviction is alive, frozen in a moment that still pulses with tension 500 years later. Standing before the mural in Milan today, you don't just see an artwork, you feel it. The weight of history, the boldness of innovation, and the undeniable pull of human emotion. And while its colors fade and its plaster crumbles, the story never does, the Last Supper continues to challenge and inspire us, asking questions that resonate beyond religion and our history. What is betrayal? What is loyalty? And how do we respond when our world is shaken? If the Last Supper left you seeing art in a whole new way, there's so much more to uncover. Subscribe to Galeria for more deep dives into the masterpieces that shaped history, because every brushstroke has a story waiting to be told. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and never stop seeing the world through the eyes of art. See you on the next video.